the idea that we were instructed to was to form a parade around the racetrack, 2, maybe even 2.5 laps, depending on what time allowed. They said we'll go about 40 miles an hour. Please keep a gap of 3 to 4 car lengths and don't do any slowdowns and burnouts, and be normal. There's cameras everywhere, and let's have a great fun time. Awesome. So here we are waiting in line for the race to clear so that we can go out on the track. There are lots of different cars that people brought. I brought my 2022 Nissan Frontier pickup truck, and people in front of me had different types of cars. I think a Honda in front of me, but in front of the Honda was a couple of Corvettes, I think. Behind me was a Cadillac CTSV. The truck right there. Now, right off the bat, there was a problem. There was a speed bump which caused cars to slow down before going on the track and opened up this huge gap. As I mentioned before, the cars in front, they took off. And they said go 40 miles an hour. I get on the track, and there was no way I could go 40. So I went about 50, 55, trying to gain up on, close the gap between the cars in front of me. So much so, the first corner tipped the camera over. Had a sticky pad and it flopped over, but it was a good sized corner. And here, coming up against the corner to the straightaway, on this first lap, I dared not floor it and go more than 50, 55 miles an hour, and there was just no way I was catching up with the cars in front of me. To get up this hill and maintain 55 miles an hour, I had to floor it just to maintain. And it comes up here and does a hairpin corner where you have to be going 10 or 15 miles an hour. Had to hold the camera from falling down, and then it goes down. I picked up speed and decided to start to push it a little bit to try to catch up with the cars in front of me. And of course, behind me is a Cadillac that is on my butt trying to catch up with me. Yeah. Oh my God. Flip my car over for this shit. This is amazing. Sorry, I can't make out what I'm saying, but pretty much overwhelmed and excited about this, and thinking maybe I should have brought my wife's car with me. So at this point, we caught up to the cars. They had slowed down, and then the camera fell off the dash, and I had to adjust it. No, that wasn't mine. Now at this point, it was clear we weren't going to really go 40 miles an hour, so we started off, and whenever there was a gap, we were pushing 60, 70 miles an hour, and then you get to these corners, and I'm realizing that my truck isn't quite going to behave like the Corvette in front of me. I had to hold on to the camera while trying to make the corner and not make the guy behind me really mad. And then in the straights, trying to get back up to speed to catch up to the rest of the group. So as a comparison, this is about 40 miles an hour. This is the pace at which we were supposed to go around the track. And at this point, you'll see cars both in front and behind. Hard to see, but weaving back and forth like they're warming up their tires. Everyone was having a lot of fun, I think. As we come up to this corner, you can hear the car, not in front of me, but the two cars in front of that car. You'll hear them speed away. You might be able to hear the car behind me with its turbo spinning up. These boys were really pushing hard, and this Honda in front of me tried his best to keep up with them, did a pretty good job. I had absolutely no chance. Now you might hear music from time to time. The guy behind me had his windows down and his stereo was cranking. So when he got close to me, I could hear music and I couldn't figure it out until about the second lap where it was coming from. The only other sound you hear sometimes is when we're going down the main straight where the start-finish line is. You can hear the announcements over the PA system. So by this time I'm starting to get a little more comfortable, and although I'm driving with one hand while I hold the camera, I'm starting to get a little more comfortable giving it some throttle. So you might hear the engine of the truck a little bit more than you did in the first part of the video.
This. So let's see if we're going to exit. Got a lap in. This is where we started. Whole thing down. That's insane. Turn 19, it's the whole thing down. So here's our first lap just about completed here, and going down the main straightaway. This was the view that we had when we went to F1 just 2 weeks before. On the left side is the entrance to the pits and this final corner.
at this point, I can both tell and I know the expression on my face. I'm really starting to relax and have a good time, enjoying taking the corners, looking down the straight, not worried so much about where I am, what speed I'm going, and just trying to manage the car hustling down the road. So it just got better and better. Okay, just for fun, I'm going to speed this video up 2, maybe 3 times, just so you get the sense of how cool it is to go around this track. Okay, time for one last run up the straight. It'll be the 3rd time going along the straight and up the hill before we exit shortly after. Okay, so now we are exiting the track. There's a official car there, making sure everyone gets off the track. And we'll head back to the parking lot. But the one last cool thing was there's 2 tunnels that are on this racetrack. And the tunnels go under the actual racetrack for pedestrians, but also for service and race cars to move around within the track. And we got to go under this other tunnel, which was really, really cool. Truly had a fun time, and we are headed back outside the racetrack, but around the perimeter, getting back to our initial starting point. What a fun day, and definitely the highlight. I'll put some videos of some of the other cars and pictures I saw, but this was definitely the highlight of the day. Thanks for watching.